Now this is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute to sit, I'll urge it, tell you how I became the queen of a place called Persia.
By Mordecai, I was adopted and raised. In the temple is where I spent most of my days. Cheaping out, skimping, praying all cool, and circumcising boys outside of school.
When King Xerxes told me I would look good, he wanted me to come live in his hood. I got all the bagels I wanted, but never said shalom. If you knew I was a Jew, I'd never see the throne.
I heard all about his horrible plan, and I knew bad things were gonna happen by his hand. Haman was a guy that was up to no good. He started killing Jews in my neighborhood. I went up to the king, I was finally brave, and he saved all the Jews, and we all had a raid.
The Book of Esther begins with Queen Vashti refusing to obey an order from her husband, King Xerxes. She was subsequently banished, and the search began for a new queen. The king sent out a decree to gather together all the beautiful women in the empire and bring them into the royal harem. Esther, a young Jewish woman, was one of those chosen to be in the royal harem. King Xerxes was so pleased with Esther that he made her his queen. Meanwhile, Mordecai, Esther's older cousin, became a government official and during his tenure foiled an assassination plot. But the ambitious and self-serving Haman was appointed second in command in the empire. When Mordecai refused to bow in reverence to him, Haman became furious and determined to destroy Mordecai and all the Jews along with him. Esther asked King Xerxes and Haman to be her guests at a banquet. During the feast, the king asked Esther what she really wanted, and he promised to give her anything. Esther simply invited both men to another banquet the next day. That night, unable to sleep, the king was flipping through some records in the royal archives when he read of the assassination plot that Mordecai thwarted. Surprised to learn that Mordecai had never been rewarded for this deed, the king asked Haman what should be done to properly thank a hero. Haman thought the king must be talking about him, and so he described a lavish reward. The king agreed, but to Haman's shock and utter humiliation, he learned that Mordecai was the person to be so honored. During the second banquet, the king again asked Esther what she desired. She replied that someone had plotted to destroy her and her people, and she named Haman as the culprit. Immediately, the king sentenced Haman to die on the gallows that he had built for Mordecai.
Now this is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute to sit, I'll urge it, tell you how I became the queen of a place called Persia.
By Mordecai, I was adopted and raised. In the temple is where I spent most of my days. Cheaping out, skimping, praying all cool, and all circumcising boys outside of school.
When King Xerxes told me I looked good, he wanted me to come live in his hood. I got all the bagels I wanted, but never said shalom. If he knew I was a Jew, I'd never see the throne.
I heard all about this horrible man, and I knew bad things were going to happen by his hand. Haman was a guy that was up to no good. He started killing Jews in my neighborhood. I went up to the king, I was finally brave, and he saved all the Jews, and we all had a raid.
Go ahead.
You look like you're...
By Mordecai, I was adopted and raised in the temple is where I spent most of my days. Stripping up, maxing, relaxing, all cool, and all I forget the words, so I messed up.
Hi, my name is Stephanie.
Yeah.
Go!